So here is some huge news that affects me personally, and I have a vested interest in bringing this to you, especially in light of the Jimmy Kimmel episode and the fact that leftists are crying over free speech being attacked. Google, who formerly said that they were an area of neutrality, that they would never deem one political side preferable to the other, that they would never censor because it goes against their reason for existing, now admits censorship under the Biden regime and promises to end bans of YouTube accounts of thousands of Americans censored for political speech. So here are a few finer points. The Biden administration pressured Google, according to them, to censor Americans and remove content that did not, in fact, violate YouTube policies. And yes, that happened to me several times. I almost lost my channel, small as it might be, because Google decided to play Zeus and strike me down with a thunderbolt for just merely reporting on Tucker Carlson and what the lawyer of the QAnon shaman who entered into the Senate chambers said. Just for reporting on the fact that these tapes were available, I earned a strike. For reporting on COVID accurately, I got a strike. For predicting how COVID would go, multiple strikes. The Biden administration censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong, says Google. Public debate should never come at the expense of relying on specific authorities. 4, the company will never use third-party fact checkers. This is just a way to outsource the truth-telling that the Biden regime wants to those who will fact-check as they see fit, and therefore Google says, well, we're not fact-checking, somebody else is. 5, Europe's censorship laws that target American companies and threaten American speech include the removal of lawful content. So what you see here is how, as Mike Benz describes it, the blob wanted to censor all Americans for speech that did not coalesce with their goals of gaining complete control over our right to express ourselves, over the fascistic partnership of Big Pharma and the government, who takes our tax dollars, spends it on a vaccine that doesn't work, and then gets the government to not only pay for it, but to censor anybody who says differently, and psyops everybody into needing it, and installs laws where if you don't get it, then you can't be a viable citizen of the country that you exist in. And now here they are whining and screaming about Jimmy Kimmel and the fact that after stating an outright lie that really is a detriment to advertisers and people that would want to watch his show that might be even sane, that the shooter of Charlie Kirk was MAGA, and because Brendan Carr, who actually has legal authority, the FCC chairman, has legal authority over what goes over the airwaves, this is not in the public interest, makes a threat that I don't think he should have made because it gives them an out to ABC. Now Kimmel, they're whining about Jimmy Kimmel and turning him into a free speech icon. And they're saying that Trump is coming after free speech. Meanwhile, you see this admission from Google, and hopefully they released it intentionally right now, demonstrates just how authoritarian the Biden regime was, how your speech was under attack, how the left are the true attackers of the First Amendment, and it is being shielded by those of us in the center and on the right today. Free speech used to be a left-wing value when I was growing up. That's what I thought. That's part of the reason that I was a Democrat. Now the party has shifted full authoritarian, and they're trying to use this veneer of what they used to be as a shield for the authoritarian fascistic efforts that they in fact are. This is pretty monumental admission by Google, and this is what Europe is trying to do. The blob, the liberal globalist elite, anything but liberal, by the way. Liberal means liberty of the individual to have specific rights that don't intrude upon others. That's the definition of liberalism. They've co-opted this term, but nevertheless, the blob is out there trying to exert total control. They are determining who can run. If in Romania, Georgescu wins, they just say, well, that election didn't count. They just toss it out because it doesn't go along with what they desire. And same in Brazil. They removed Bolsonaro and now are sending him to jail. They tried to do the same thing to Donald Trump. And anybody who stood up to these people was censored so that the public would think, well, there's nobody standing with us. How can we stand against them? And they could psyop them more easily because there were not dissenting voices. So just remember the fact that Google went along with this, that YouTube claims that they never shadow banned anybody. Of course they did. How could they not? Oh yeah, well, we're gonna let anybody who is not specifically chosen for annihilation, we're going to give them lots of reach. It's the same exact thing that Jack Dorsey said at Twitter. He said that they don't shadow ban anybody. What? They called it visibility filtering? The whole thing was set up to be shadow ban, and Elon Musk demonstrated that when he came and took over the reins. And this is in the Twitter files. And now we have Google admitting the same thing, and these effers want to claim that they are the protectors of the First Amendment, and we must stand for the First Amendment only when it's convenient to them. Only then, even when there's a right for a corporation to remove one of its employees for saying something that at least half of the nation did not appreciate, a total lie that the FCC actually has dominion over, unlike these private companies and our own private speech. This was their employee. Then they want to claim that the First Amendment is their highest prize, that this is something that they value and cherish. They're so full of shit, and this just demonstrates it. And as a Google shareholder, good, at least you finally admitted it, but I'm so pissed off that you guys lied the entire time, and we all knew it. There's no way that these traffic flows and bans could have come from anything else. Everybody knew it, and here you have the evidence of it. And these hypocrite Bidenites, these hypocrite blob members, they should just frankly be expelled to their homeland of North Korea. Well, they will fit right in, except they won't be at the top of the pecking order. They'll be in the gulags digging for coal and other salts for Kim Jong-un's meat, because he's the only one there that's allowed it. God, good day for free speech, because we now see the machinations of the machine that tried to rob you and me of ours. Peace.